Hello everyone, Saida here. I wanted to make this video because for a long time I've struggled with issues with money, issues with prosperity, issues with abundance, having more abundance and prosperity in my life. And I feel as though I've moved through a threshold. So I feel like I've overcome a big obstacle when it comes to having abundance and prosperity. And I said to myself while I was working through my difficulties that, if I am able to move through this, if I am able to get through my abundance issues, I am going to help other people that are having issues with abundance and having money and prosperity. So here I am. Okay, so I wanted to make this video to give you some tips on how you can move through your abundance blocks, okay? Because I feel like it's a big issue that a lot of people struggle with, and a lot of times it's for a lifetime that they struggle with issues of abundance, and it's a shame and it's really difficult, and I feel like it can really take a toll on people, not just emotionally but physically, and it can really cause some problems. So I wanted to offer you my insights on how I moved through my abundance blocks, and maybe they'll work for you. Hopefully they will. I mean, everyone's experience is different, but hopefully they'll work for you. So the first thing that I'm going to recommend to you is something that you might have heard a lot, okay? Because I feel like it's a very common thing that people say when they want to help people to move through an abundance block or an abundance obstacle. And that is, be grateful for what you have. Now, hear me out here. Don't turn off the video just yet. I feel like I want to give you a deeper perspective on what that means, okay? So, you may have heard that in order to manifest abundance, that you need to focus on abundance, which means you have to focus on what you're grateful for. And this was something that I had a hard time doing, because I was like, I already felt like I was in lag. I already felt like I didn't have enough money. It's like, how can I focus on, what I have when I feel like I don't have much of anything? And there was something that my fiance said to me that actually gave me some perspective. He was telling me that if something were to happen to you, like you as a person, if you got sick or if you got a terminal illness or something happened to one of your loved ones, how important would money be? How important would all that be? Because let's say you had tons of money. Let's say you were an abundant person, you had millions of dollars, and you could buy anything in the world that you wanted. But then something happened to you, and within the blink of an eye, you knew that you would not exist for more than, I don't know, let's say a few days, a few weeks, a few months, a few years. How important would money be if you knew that you wouldn't exist anymore in a short period of time? Now, this is a hypothetical situation, like what if, but the truth is we may never know when we're going to leave this earth. And if we never know when we're going to leave this earth, we have to think about, if we had a limited amount of time left, what would be the most important thing for us to have? Now, for me, the most important thing in my life are my loved ones, okay? My family, my friends, the people that I really love and care about, they're the most important people in my life. It's not the amount of money that I have, because all that stuff would become absolutely insignificant if something were to happen to me or if something were to happen to them. So my perspective on that case would be to focus on that which you are grateful for, which for a lot of people would be people that they love and that they care for. It could be you're grateful for your health. I have all my, both my arms, I have both my legs, I have all my body parts, nothing has been removed, and there are people that are out there struggling with health issues, that are struggling with all kinds of issues. It could always be worse. So we have to think of it as, what is it in our life right now that we're grateful for? What is it that we really hold dear to our heart? So some people would say, and I probably have said this before too, that, well, if I don't have money, then because I don't have money, I can't spend time with my loved ones, or I can't do what I want to do with my loved ones. Well, let's try to shift the focus a little bit. Let's try to see it as, because at this point in time, I'm not exactly where I want to be. You don't necessarily have to say this in this way, but I'm just trying to give you some perspective here so you can shift the words a little bit. So because I'm not exactly where I want to be just yet, I'm going to appreciate and hold dear even more the time that I have with my loved ones, the time that I have to appreciate my health and well-being. So instead of seeing it as, well, I don't have the money, so I can't do this, say, regardless of how much money that I have, I am going to appreciate the time and whatever it is that I have with my loved ones, regardless of how much money I have. Because the truth is that money does not buy happiness. It really doesn't. I mean, I really feel like it can help. I feel like it can be used as a tool to get us what we need in order to cultivate the relationships with our loved ones. But the love that we have between us and those that we care for is there anyway. The love is just supported by the money to, like, go on vacation, to go out to eat, whatever it is, the quality time. But we can do that without money. Like, we can do that without being, let's say, rich, just spending time talking to each other. We can go out to a park and do that, just spending time with our loved ones and talking or whatever. I'm just giving you guys an example. Like, for me, my loved ones are the most important thing. So for you, you may want to, like, reflect on your life to, like, see what's most important to you, but I'm just using that as an example. So see what it is that you're grateful for now that, if you didn't have money, would still be something that you're grateful for. Okay, so that's like the first thing I want you guys to reflect on when it comes to moving through your abundance blocks. Now, the second thing I want to talk about is, what is it that is keeping you from living an abundant life? For a lot of us, it tends to be our mindset is what I'm noticing. So I know for me, one of my issues was that I didn't feel like I was worthy of living an abundant life. I felt like having money past a certain amount was out of my reach. It wasn't something that I could ever achieve or something that was ever possible for me. So me and abundance were like this. It was like we were in two different worlds. So what I had to do was rewrite my story. I had to tell myself a different story when I was ready to do so. And I found that this was mainly after I was able to detach from the level of importance that I gave money. Once I was able to detach from that and have more gratitude, I was able to see where my other blocks were when it came to money. So I kind of lost my train of thought. But for me, I had issues with worthiness. I didn't feel like I was worthy of abundance. I didn't feel like it was anything that was ever possible for me. So I had to sit with myself a little bit and ask, like, where is that issue coming from? Why do I feel like it's not in my reach? Now, this is interesting. One of the things that I found was an issue for me, it was something that originated from when I was younger, okay? So when I was younger, I used to get $20 a week for allowance, okay? My grandfather used to give that to me. And that, as you know, it's a very, it's not a lot to work with. It's good for a kid, but, as you get older, obviously you would want to have more money. What I realized was that I was still operating in that consciousness of still getting $20 a week. I don't know how that happened, how I got to that point, like from being a kid, having $20 a week, to still having that mindset, but I was still operating in the mindset of only receiving $20 a week. So I had to detach from that part of my life, clear that out, and just tell myself, you're not in that situation anymore. You don't have to live like that, or you don't have to live with that mindset that you're only going to get a small amount of money per week or per month, whatever. So I had to clear that out. I also had to tell myself that I'm worthy of abundance just like everyone else. You know, it's not only certain people that deserve abundance, not only the wealthy, not only those that are in a higher level position in this country, but everyone deserves abundance. Everyone deserves to live a prosperous life, including myself. So I had to tell myself that, you know, this isn't my story anymore. I'm not going to keep telling myself the story that, oh, you know, life is so hard and, you know, I can only receive this amount of money. You know, and for a period of time it was difficult. It wasn't just that I was having a hard time holding on to money, but it seems like I would keep getting myself in these situations where money would be taken from me, or I would find like a drainage in my financial aspect. So yeah, there was a lot of difficulties, but I had to pull myself out of that. And part of that was telling myself that I'm not in the situation anymore where I had financial difficulties. You know, I had to forgive those situations, that, you know, that was then. This is a different part of my life. Being grateful for what it is that I have that is not related to money. Things that money can't buy. So I had to do that. And let's see, I'm trying to think. From there, I had to stay within the flow. Okay, so I had to tell myself that I am an abundant person, you know. I felt like once I was able to move through the first two, though, it got a lot easier. It was just a lot easier, because now I just feel this strong sense of abundance surrounding me, kind of like this gold energy. And let me tell you, it's different than I thought it would be. It's not this feeling of being, like, just having a lot of money. It's this feeling of bounty. It's this feeling of never-ending support. So as opposed to like seeing maybe like dollar bills around me or something, I just see a lot of gold lush, you know. So some of it may not even necessarily be coins or like money. I see it as being like golden food, or like, of course, because I love food, but like golden leaves, golden, it almost feels like how the world feels, or how America feels like around the fall time, because I live in New York. So, you know, when the leaves start to turn like a golden color, reddish, orangey color, there's this feeling of just lush, of bounty, of golden. I don't know how to I don't know how else to describe it. But basically, once I moved through those first two blocks, I noticed other things started to open up. I noticed I was more open to focusing on money, whereas before I didn't want to focus on it. Money was something I didn't even want to think about. I didn't want to have to reflect on it or anything. For me, I wish it didn't even exist at the time. Now, I'm actually okay with thinking about money, thinking about abundance, feeling abundant. So, I started to do more things to attract more noise. I started to do more things to attract abundance and wealth into my life. You know, like I do positive affirmations, but I also think and focus upon the color gold. So for me, that's my thing. For you, it may be focusing on the color green. You know, it may be focusing on like changing what you're wearing, you know, imagining yourself as being royal or something. You know, everyone has something different, you know, that's going to help them. But for me, that's my thing. I'm focusing on the color gold and lush and just fertility. That's what I'm focusing on, to keep myself on that road. And if something happens that makes me feel like, okay, this isn't like the best financial situation, I allow myself to feel that, but then I'm like, no. I redirect the energy and I'm like, abundance is always here for me, and abundance is on its way. And I want to say too, as a maybe like as a final thing, that it's not enough to say that. You can't just say that. You actually have to feel it. And you have to feel that sense of reassurance and peace, okay? So I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I could share with you, but I feel like the first two things were like the biggest things. So the gratitude, rewriting your story, seeing where your issues are, whether it's a worthiness issue. Some people also grew up with parents that worried about money a lot, so you may have to like forgive your parents or forgive whoever you were around the most that kind of seeded that thought pattern into your mind, and detach yourself from it, so you can be your own individual person, have your own individual experience, okay? So I want to see if there's any other recommendations I can give to you, but I'm a crystal girl, okay? So I like to have pyrite with me. I also like to have citrine with me, you know, but for me it's also about just surrounding myself in the colors of those crystals too. So just giving you guys, you know, some recommendations. So just be open to receiving, work through your blocks, and please give me some updates on what's been happening for you. Try to work on this, work on the recommendations that I gave you, and let me know how things go for you, because I really want to help you guys. I have so much love in my heart for you all, and I want you guys to have a happy life, okay? So let me know how things go. All right, so thank you so much for watching, and take care.